So we've talked previously about adding a text item to the diagram window. In this video, what we're going to do is talk about some of the more advanced features associated with text that can be placed in the diagram window. So the way that you add a text item to the diagram window is with the Add Text Item button, which is right here. We've seen the dialog that this brings up before. If you want to add plain text, it's this top radio button, and you would add the text that you are interested in. You type it right into this edit box right here, so something like compressor. And you can adjust the appearance of this text, so you can adjust the font, the size, the style, the orientation, all this kind of stuff down here. So if I want to make it maybe bold and italics, and maybe we'll make it, I don't know, red and big, so 60. All that stuff can be done down here. You hit OK, and there's my text item. There's some other controls here that you might want to use, and they sit over here to make it more formatted. So let's maybe turn it back to a little bit more normal looking text. And now we'll come in here and maybe we want to make a subscript or a superscript or add some Greek letters or other things like that. So if I want to make this compressor discharge, and I want discharge to be a subscript, I would just hit this little button right here, and you can see that it's adding the appropriate codes, so /d/ to actually accomplish this. And if I hit OK, yeah, compressor discharge. So let's go back to the dialog. You can see that there are these palettes up here that will allow you to choose from various lowercase Greek symbols, uppercase Greek symbols, or here are some math symbols. And actually in here you can put a dot or a bar or a hat over a selected variable as well. What else can we talk about here? I can actually include a hyperlink. Let's see, select include link, and then my text item will become an actual link. So maybe I want to link to, I don't know, let's go to fchartsoftware.com, and now this can be a link to web page, something like that. And if I hit OK, now when I go into application mode and select that text item, you can see it brings up the website. And you can also make this link to a file on your computer, like a PDF file or something like that. If you are in the, so let's go back to development mode here. If I'm in the window and I want to place a whole bunch of text, so I don't know, maybe I know that I have 10 text items I want to put, and I don't want to click out of this window and back into it, I can just use the new button here. So maybe let's do compressor, and then click new. You see it put a compressor there. And then I'll put turbine, new, and it'll place turbine right underneath that, and I can keep doing this as long as I want. And that's a convenient way to place a whole bunch of text items on the diagram window all at once. Down here, if you see, there are these three possibilities in this drop-down menu: show always, show only after calculations, and then show before calculations. And those are kind of convenient if you want the text to disappear and then appear, depending on whether a user is entering information into the diagram window that will be used for the calculation. So you can have it appear then, and then after they do the calculations, you can have text appear to highlight what happened. So for example, here, let's get rid of all this stuff, and we'll just make a simple thing: out equals in plus 3. So there's my program. I need to set some inputs, and I will calculate some outputs. So here's the diagram window. So let's have an input variable for, I guess, in. We'll put that somewhere, and we'll add an output variable here for out, and we'll put that over maybe here, like that. And we will have a text item, maybe enter your inputs. But we want this text item to show only before calculations. So we'll put that over here. And then after the calculations, we'll have a second text item that says, here are your outputs. Maybe here are your results. We want that to show only after calculations. So we'll put that here. And then let's just add a calculate button to make it all work. Okay, so let's go to application mode. And here I am before I calculate, and it's saying enter my inputs, so maybe 4. And then I'll calculate, and there are my outputs. And then as soon as I go back over here to enter new inputs, so 2, enter my inputs, here are my outputs. So you can see kind of how that all works. So I can also select formatted text. And formatted text is a text item that includes formal attributes such as subscripts or style or font variations, and even maybe embedded graphics. There's only one way that you can enter this information if you have the student or the commercial licenses, and that's to compose and copy the text item in a word processor and then paste it into the diagram window. If you do that, then the text item will appear exactly as it did when it was copied, but it's going to be pasted as a graphic object that you can't edit in EES. If you have the professional version of EES, then there's actually kind of a lot more capability associated with formatted text items on the diagram window. So you can compose a paragraph right here in the add diagram text item dialog when the formatted text button is selected, as I'm doing here. And when I'm done with my paragraph, if I select OK, you can see that it's just going to paste that text directly into the diagram window as an editable rich text item. Even more powerfully, you can compose a rich text item in another application, such as a word processor, and paste it directly into the diagram window using the paste command from the options menu. And then when EES detects that what you're trying to paste is a formatted text object from the clipboard, it will display the select clipboard format dialog that's shown here once the paste command is issued. And you can select picture or enhanced metafile formats, and that's just going to paste the contents of the clipboard into the diagram window as a graphics item. The picture will show the text and or graphics just as it appeared in the application that it was copied from, but you can't modify it. If you select the plain text option here, then you're going to get the text on the clipboard in an editable control, but it will be stripped of all of its formatting options, and if there are any graphics, they will be removed. But if you select the formatted text or RTF option, then you'll get the contents of the clipboard in the diagram window in rich text format, which will allow it to be edited. Any graphics objects included with the text will be pasted there as well. And there's a lot of advantages to this format, and one is that it will allow you to build a detailed report or a problem statement, including the graphics, right here on the diagram window, and then it'll be saved in the same file as the EES code that is used to carry out whatever the relevant calculations are. So you can see that initially the text width is set to be the width of the diagram window that you're pasting it into, but if you want to, you can resize it just by pulling these handles, and you can edit the text inside of here in sort of the usual way. If you click on the right mouse button inside the text rectangle, while the text is selected, you will access this pop-up menu, and that allows selected text to be cut or copied. You can vary the font, the size, the color, and so forth, just as if you were in a word processor. And then finally, you can actually insert variables from the EES calculations into this rich text field. So to do that, you would select Insert Variable menu item here, and that's going to bring up this dialog that provides a way to insert an EES variable in a live manner, so that the value displayed in the text will actually change as the value of the variable changes. So here you can see I have a list of all the current EES variables in the main section of the equations window. You have the usual checkboxes over here that will allow you to include or not include the name or the value or the units or even the alternate units. So as an example here, one of the relevant variables in this this problem statement is the radiation temperature, T_rad. And so if I have a variable T_rad, so let's just make one T_rad equals 290 Kelvin, I can insert that variable into this RTF, right? And if I do that, so let's go ahead and do that, you can see that now what's been inserted into the RTF is number 2 T_rad. And the number 2 indicates the format, and then T_rad indicates that that's the variable I want to insert here. And now when I view my diagram window in application mode, right, if I solve my equations, you can see that number 2 T_rad has been replaced by, in this case, 290 Kelvin. And if I am doing calculations and these variables change, the values in this RTF will change as well, right, making a very nice sort of live document that can be used to document your EES calculations.